love watching scary movies, especially at sleepovers or on Halloween, because who doesn't love scaring themselves so much they can't sleep? When Megan is Missing started showing up on my For You page on TikTok, I was super excited for what looked like a new found footage horror movie. Then I found out that this was a movie that came out in 2011. I was just confused. What the heck was a 9-year-old movie doing trying to traumatize people on TikTok? So of course, I became obsessed with it. Megan is Missing is the story of two best friends, Megan and Amy, who both go missing and turn up dead. The story is told from recordings of video chats as well as footage from their cell phones and Amy's digital camera. Although Megan and Amy are best friends, they're pretty much total opposites. Megan is popular, wears makeup, goes to parties, and gets a lot of attention from boys. She also has a really troubled home life and a traumatic past, which makes her seek love and companionship from older guys and people on the internet. Amy, on the other hand, is sweet, innocent, and has a really good relationship with her parents. In her recordings, we can see that she still owns a bunch of stuffed animals and stuff that you'd expect from kids much younger than her. Her childish outlook on life makes her an outcast at school, and her only real friend is Megan. To celebrate Amy's birthday, Megan invites her to a party hosted by one of Megan's popular friends, who really doesn't want Amy there, but Megan convinces him to let her bring Amy along. At the party, Amy drinks for the first time and goes way overboard. She also gets punched in the face by a way older guy for refusing to hang out with him, causing her to get a nosebleed. A few days later, when Amy is recording a video diary, Megan apologizes for the horrible experience she had at the party and opens up to her about her past. She tells Amy that her stepdad did some really messed up stuff to her and now he's in prison for it, which is why she has a bad relationship with her mom, who blames Megan for getting her stepdad sent away. This seems to mend the bond between Megan and Amy. Next, Megan is introduced to a guy called Josh, an older boy who she speaks to online but can't video chat with her because his webcam is broken. I've seen enough episodes of Catfish to know that's bogus. She agrees to meet Josh after going to the movies with Amy, but the next day, she never turns up at school. Amy starts video calling some of the people Megan hangs out with to see if they've seen her, but because they hate Amy, they pretty much hang up on her straight away. She reaches out to Josh to see if he knows where Megan is, but he starts to show his true colors and says some really creepy stuff to Amy that freaks her out. This happens again when footage is released of Megan being and Amy confronts Josh again to ask if he is the man in the video. Amy goes to the police and tells them about Josh, which gets her a lot of media attention and she ends up on the news. She continues her own investigation with her video camera and runs into some of Megan's other friends, who blame Amy for Megan's disappearance. Next, Amy records a diary in a secret hideout she used to go to with Megan under a bridge. It's also where she keeps another teddy bear hidden, one that she told her mom she got rid of, but she couldn't bring herself to throw him away. In the back of the shot, you can see a man watching Amy as she records the video. Back at home, Josh pretty much admits to Amy that he Megan. This next bit may be how some of you guys got introduced to this movie, and there's a simple phrase that will confirm that. Photo number 1. This was the first thing I saw of this movie, and it freaked me out so bad. Basically, a month after Megan goes missing, some disturbing photos of her show up online that confirm she's been taken by someone truly evil. Amy records another video in her secret hiding spot, talking about how it looks like the police aren't going to be able to find Megan. Just before the video cuts off, we see a hand reach out and grab Amy's ankle. Some of the people from their school start a pink ribbon campaign, where they tie pink ribbons to trees in their neighborhood to show support for Megan, but they don't really mention Amy. The final 20 minutes of this movie is super hard to watch and really disgusting. The movie shows the police finding Amy's camera abandoned in a garbage bag, not far from the secret hideout. I won't go into detail, but basically we get to see the last few hours of Amy's life recorded on her camera by Josh, ending with her being buried alive with Megan's body in a barrel. The movie ends with old footage of Megan and Amy talking about their plans for the future. So, what got this movie so popular on TikTok? Well, from what we gather, people realized they could freak people out by posting photo 1 and pretending it was real. Once other users started debunking this even more, people went and watched the movie. The movie itself has a pretty bad reputation. For one, the actors in the movie were the same age as their characters, which almost never happens because of the law that protects child actors. However, according to sources, their parents were present during the whole time when the movie was being made. Also, even though it came out in 2011, the movie was actually made in 2006. The director, Michael Goy, had a really hard time finding anywhere to show the movie because of how disturbing it was, especially since it was marketed for a teen audience. Eventually, it was given a limited release by Anchor Bay Films. Another reason Megan is Missing has a bad reputation is because it was fully banned in New Zealand. This was because of the themes surrounding the young characters were seen as objectionable, a fancy way of saying extremely offensive. Lots of users on TikTok would watch the movie and record their reactions. A lot of people claiming it traumatized them and it was the scariest movie they'd ever seen. If that's the reaction people had, then Michael Goy actually achieved what he set out to do when he made this movie 15 years ago. In a recent interview, Michael Goy said that when he created Megan is Missing, he knew it wouldn't be liked by everyone, but he wanted to tell a message to parents about how much danger their kids can be put in when they go and meet strangers online, especially strangers whose faces they've never seen. He financed the movie without a studio, did all the writing and editing, and managed to shoot it in 9 days with the help of his small crew. He wanted to create a movie that looked convincing, but never actually thought anyone would think it was real. This prompted Michael to get on TikTok himself to release a small PSA to his new audience. Since he's the guy that made the movie, I would take his advice seriously. He even said that he doesn't know if he'd be able to make the movie today with how much internet and media culture has changed. He was approached by a Mexican production company who wanted to do a remake, but he turned them down because he couldn't imagine making that kind of movie again. Also, the reaction that people had to the movie seems to have taken away from the message Michael wanted to get across. There's a boy that's missing in Crenshaw in the movie, and it's just a passing mention, but then you don't hear from him again. And that was my acknowledgement of the fact that underprivileged or minority diverse kids do not get that much airplay when they go missing. When we saw Megan and Amy on screen, he wanted us to see the faces of hundreds of girls that go missing every year, and they're just the ones that get talked about. So even though it looks pretty convincing, it's important to remember that Megan is Missing is just a movie. You can see on the actors' social media pages that they're definitely alive and well. However, like with a lot of scary movies, Megan is Missing was inspired by real crimes that take place every day. When getting money together to make Megan is Missing, the movie was endorsed by Mark Klaas, the father of Polly Klaas, who is from a sleepover, then killed in the 1990s. Her case was so famous that before she was sadly found deceased, Winona Ryder offered a $200,000 reward to the person who brought Polly home safely. Polly's death brought about the 3 strikes law that gives criminals who commit violent offenses an automatic life sentence if they are found guilty of 3 crimes. Mark Klaas continues to advocate for the safety of children with the Klaas Kids Foundation and is a close friend of Michael Goy. Even if you hated the movie, I kind of admire Michael for what he was trying to achieve. For me, the visuals were more extreme than they needed to be, but the shock value definitely added to the experience. When you think about Mark Klaas endorsing this film because he had the same vision as Michael for what kind of message it should send to parents, it does make you feel sympathy for all the people that really go through this stuff. However, I will point out that the movie is not rated in the US, so please don't go looking for it if you know it's going to freak you out. That brings us to the end of today's video. Have you seen Megan is Missing or any TikToks about it? Did you ever think it was a real story? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below.